Bowen Bourne, and the Dean of the Valley men's basketball head coach is Ben Jacobson. Jake, we'll start with an opening statement by you, sir, and then we'll go to questions.
Okay, thanks, Jack. Excited to be here and get going. When we hit this day, of course, and get down here and get a chance to see everybody, it just means we're a little bit closer to playing a scrimmage and then an exhibition game and playing that first game that counts. So, and fun to see these two young guys looking sharp. This is some of the things that we've done the last 2 years. What we did this morning, going out to the elementary school, a really cool deal. Really, I think fun for everybody that took part in it. But really proud of these guys, and there were other teams there as well, other players, student athletes that were there, and the interaction with the youngsters and the ability to have an impact on some young people this morning was really neat. I like how we're practicing. We've got everybody back, but two guys, James Betts and Derek Krogman, and you can feel that at practice that we're a year older. A lot comes with that, of course, and we have felt that. We added 4 new players, Jacob Hudson, a transfer, and then 3 freshmen, and then we get Nate Heisey back from an injury last year, and he's fully healthy. So we like our roster. Anxious to get going.
Similar to what we've done in all the previous press conferences, we would ask the members of the media, please use the handheld mic for the benefit of our friends on Zoom. We'll start right here in the front row in St. Louis.
Jake, Michael Duex is not on one of the 3 preseason teams. Can't figure out why. How big of a jump can he take this year?
Yeah, Mike's a really good player, and he. What he was able to get done last year as a freshman was impressive. He has spent considerable amount of time in the gym, working on his jump shot. That's an area that he knew as we headed into the off season that he wanted to really improve, and he's made some great strides there. But he does a little bit of everything, as you know. He's able to get himself involved in a lot of different ways, and we think he's got. We think he's going to be a terrific defender. He puts a lot of pressure on the rim. When he drives it, he gets to the free throw line. He scores when he gets to the rim, and he's got a year under his belt. So we're really excited about him.
Coach, you talked about earlier that you have a few freshmen coming in. A lot of people are excited about Wes Rubin and company. So what exactly role do you see your freshmen playing on your squad this year?
Yeah, we feel great about Wes, Kyle Polk, and RJ Taylor. We had the opportunity this summer to take one of our one in every 4-year trips. We went to Brazil, and so we had the 10 extra practices. We played 4 games when we were down in Brazil, so we got more of an extended look at everybody on our roster, including the 3 freshmen. We feel like all 3 of them can help our team. How that shakes out, where that goes over the next couple of weeks as we get going, is still to be determined in terms of exactly what that'll be. But we feel like all 3 of them are good enough to help us.
Bowen, this will be your 4th year. Do you view this as a senior year, or do you think like this is my last ride? Do you think about I've got 2 years left? Like, what's your mentality going into this year?
I think about it as my senior year, and me and Coach were just talking about this the other day, that's something that you can use as an external motivator. And so I think knowing that I have a year after, but still approaching this as my senior year, I think is a great way to add some motivation and to add an extra type of energy to your team and to your squad. And that's how I have approached it and how I'm thinking about it and trying to help all my teammates learn. I'm starting to see the game. I'm starting to feel in practice what we need to improve, how we can improve it, what we need to do during the game. Do we talk about it in the huddles? So there's been certain things that I think my entire approach has somewhat been yeah, that I'm a senior. I'm on track to graduate, and then I'll have the COVID year. But I think that's something that is a good motivator because it can allow you to have that kind of this is my last chance, type of mentality. And I think that adds an extra dimension to your team. And I feel like I have been doing better in practices with starting to kind of take that older guy approach and start to help the younger guys and help them kind of be a player coach. And so I think that's something that, I have thought about just a little bit in terms of, how I want to look at this. And so definitely I feel like I've kind of approached it that way.
Okay, we're going to take one question from Zoom, and then we'll come back to Kevin.
Good afternoon, Coach. John Teitel from hoopshd.com. I don't believe you had any power conference teams on your schedule last year. And in Atlantis next month, you might have 3 games in 3 days against, in theory, Carolina, Villanova, and Arkansas. And if not, there's still several great other teams in the field. How do you feel about either the Atlantis tournament in general and or the prospect of facing 3 power conference teams back to back to back?
Was that for me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I didn't hear the first part. Yeah, I thanks for being on the Zoom. Thanks for your question. We can't wait. It's something that people ask us, fans in particular. That's been on our schedule for a little while now. The teams have been known for a while. The bracket just came out. I don't know if that was a month or 6 weeks ago. But that type of tournament, of course, is going to generate a lot of buzz with your fan base, so that part of it has been exciting. But more in terms of our players and our program and the opportunity, we can't wait. And I don't know if there's a different or better way I can describe it. Like we can't wait. We've got some things to do before we get to that tournament with a game at North Texas, traveling down to the Bahamas. We play South Florida in the return game of a home and home, and 2 very good teams. So we've got things to do before we get there. But again, we can't wait.
Go next to Kevin.
Kevin Lehman from Valley TV. This one's for you, Bowen. I got a follow-up for Titan. Bowen, basketball family, your grandfather's legendary, your dad was a great player, now he's an NBA scout. How much does he help you with your game, your dad, looking at perspective from an NBA and with you post-game talks or whatever?
Yeah, he's a huge help. And I think that's something that as I've gotten older, I've taken advantage more. When I was younger, I didn't necessarily know how valuable that he was. And so I think as I've gotten older, started to take the game more serious and realize that if I do want to play professional basketball, there are some valuable things that he can provide with me. And so there's not a ton of it because I think I value our family in terms of the UNI basketball team. I value the coaching staff, I value the players, and they are the people that are around the team the most. And so these guys have tremendous value as well. And so there's actually not a ton in terms of back and forth. There's a little bit that I'll go through with him and communicate, kind of what I'm seeing, what he sees for me, how I can help my team do better. And so there's a little bit of that, but we also have a tremendous coaching staff and a tremendous team that I also value their opinions a lot and that we go back and forth. And more than ever this year, Coach and I, and along with some other assistant coaches, Coach Hogan and Coach Tuttle, we've been really putting a higher emphasis on the mental side of the game and really trying to think things and really trying to figure out, this is what we want done, how do we actually do it? And so I've probably been in the office more this year than I ever have, and even with a busy schedule, I'm always trying to pop in and watch film and try to critique and improve the things that we're seeing in practice and eventually the games here coming up.
And then for you, Titan, captain of the most improved team last year, what's your goals for this year, and how do you elevate beyond that?
Even if I did win it last year, still just trying to improve as much as I can, and who knows, maybe win it again. So just put in that work and treating it just like I didn't win it to begin with.
Okay, we have another question from Zoom.
Hey, Coach Jake, it's Ethan up in Cedar Falls. Curious if adding Jacob Hudson was a consideration and getting more size in the paint. Felt like you guys maybe lacked a little bit of physicality and size in the paint at times last year.
Yeah, going into last year, Austin Fife was on track to be with us, and when he wasn't, it changed the dynamic for us at that position, and so we yes, when we got to the spring, one of our needs as we saw it was to improve our size at that position, and Jacob, he has done that for us, and I think I would tell you that has done even more than that. The obvious being he's 6'10", 6'11", he's 250 pounds. So it checks that box, and that one's maybe a little easier to see. But having him all summer, having him now for 6 weeks here in the fall, he's got a lot of versatility. So for a guy at that position, he moves his feet well, covers up a lot of things defensively. Very good communicator. We can throw it to him on the block. Standstill three is something that he's comfortable doing. He just did it again yesterday in practice, and so in addition to us feeling like we needed to get bigger, have a different presence at the center position. He also brings a lot of things to the table for us.
And then what's a reasonable expectation for Trey Campbell in his second year in your program?
Yeah, we've asked Trey, and he's coming off a great freshman year, to start every game and play the minutes he did as a true freshman, and feel like he had a terrific first year for us. And we've really asked him to be more aggressive and really push himself to on a daily basis, have some consistency at a higher level in terms of his impact, because we feel like he is very capable of that. And we're looking forward to a big year from Trey.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
This can be for Jake and any of the players. I know it's been 7 months or so, but Florida Atlantic made the Final Four. I know we're a long way from the Final Four this year, but what is that, to see a mid-major team like that make it, what kind of motivation does that give you to know that it can be done?
Yeah.
Let's start with Jake, and then we'll go to Titan.
Okay. Yeah, we've from my standpoint, and I've talked about with our players, so Ty and Bo would have heard me talk about it, I think, at least once, maybe more, whether it was in recruiting or in the time that they've been with us. Since our time as a program in 2010, when we played in the Sweet 16, we've talked about it, right? And and there's been some teams, Wichita when they were in the league, of course, and as you mentioned, Florida Atlantic, there's been a couple of them that have happened since 2010 that gives you, continues to give you, the motivation, if you will, and the belief that it can get done. But we've talked about it since 2010, that we feel like it's something that we can get done. And so, yeah, excited to get going.
Titan, can you please share your perspective?
Yeah, I feel like those mid-major teams, and when we see them go far, it gives us some motivation just knowing that we can do it, and that we obviously have to put in a lot more work than what we had been doing, and just keep working and working, getting better. So staying on top of things like that is really important.
Coach, I covered a lot of Kyle Polk in high school, just an awesome kid. Just what is it that you think he can maybe bring to this team immediately, and what's his outlook just kind of for the future?
Yeah, he's off to a great start. His shooting is the first one that, for anybody who hasn't seen him play, the first time you see him, catch and shoot the basketball, it kind of sticks with you, and so that obviously is something that translates, and he's done that well for us. But he's got a couple things. One, he's got really good savvy, right? Really good sense, really good awareness, both ends of the floor, And, watching him with his high school team, watching him with his AAU program, he's a winner. And he makes important shots, and he makes them when they count the most. And both of those things translate as well. So Kyle's off to a great start.
We have less than 5 minutes remaining in this segment. Josh?
Jake, what can you tell us about Austin's new role with the program after Austin stepped away due to the medical issues and ended his playing career?
Yeah, thanks, Josh. He similar to last year. Last year he was still taking undergraduate courses and helped us as a student assistant. This year he's completed his degree. He's already done his student teaching, and so this year he is taking grad classes. But will be in a similar role to last year as a student assistant. He was taking grad classes.
Any other questions for the Panthers? Gentlemen, thank you very much.